There's one system in your house that's absolutely essential for your daily comfort, but let's be honest, most of us just completely ignore it, right? Until it's way too late. Okay, so let's dive into the owner's manual for your home's comfort system that you never knew you needed.
We've all felt that feeling, that sinking moment of dread. The air suddenly gets heavy, that gentle hum from the AC is just gone, and this wave of panic starts to wash over you. It's the moment every homeowner fears. But hey, it doesn't have to be a full-blown crisis. Just understanding what's going on is the very first step.
All right, so first things first. Let's talk about the hero of this whole story, the machine that's working tirelessly behind the scenes, day in and day out.
Your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, your HVAC, is so much more than just a box that blows cold air. It's a really complex machine that's basically in a non-stop fight to keep your home's environment perfectly balanced no matter what's happening outside.
And believe me, that fight, it's way tougher than you'd think, especially depending on where you live. Your system is up against what you could call a triple threat of challenges, every single day. So, first up is the climate itself. In really humid places, like around Washington, D.C., your system isn't just fighting the heat. It's fighting this crushing humidity. It's that sticky, heavy air. And that forces your air conditioner to run way harder and longer than systems in drier climates, which just causes everything to wear out faster.
Next, there's the house itself. You see, a lot of homes, especially those built between the 40s and the 70s, were put up back when energy efficiency wasn't really a thing people talked about. That means all that nice, cool air you're paying for is often just leaking right out through old ductwork and bad insulation, making your system work overtime just to try and keep up.
And last but not least, paperwork. In a lot of places, there are really strict local codes that mean any major repair or replacement needs official permits and inspections. And trust me, trying to skip that step can lead to fines and some major headaches down the road, especially when you try to sell your house.
Okay, so your poor HVAC system is up against all this stuff. How in the world do you know when it's about to tap out? Well, it's all about learning to listen to your system and recognize those warning signs before you have a total breakdown. Okay, now this is where you get to be a bit of a detective. And these signs, they're super clear once you know what you're looking for. Is your AC running all day long, but you're still sweating? Got one room that feels like a freezer and another that's like a sauna? These aren't just little quirks of your house, they're symptoms of a bigger problem. And let's talk about sounds, because this is a big one. A gentle hum, little click when it turns on or off, totally fine. That's a happy machine. But that awful grinding noise, or a high-pitched squeal, or a loud bang? Nope. That's your system literally screaming that a part is failing and it needs help right away.
And one of the worst things for your system is something called short cycling. Ever hear your unit kick on and then shut off just a minute or two later and then turn right back on again? That is a huge red flag. It puts a ton of stress on the most expensive parts of your system, and it's just a huge waste of energy.
All right, so you know something's wrong. And now we've arrived at the big one. The question every single homeowner faces eventually. Do you sink more money into repairing this thing, or is it finally time to replace the whole shebang? First thing you've got to look at is age. A really well-cared-for system could last you 15, maybe even 20 years. But, and this is a big but, if you're in one of those tough, humid climates and it hasn't been looked after, you might be lucky to get 10 or 12 years out of it. So knowing your system's age is step one. So, to make this whole repair or replace thing less of a gut feeling, a lot of pros use a really simple guideline. They call it the $5,000 rule. And it's just a quick little bit of math to help you figure out if a repair is a good investment or if you're just throwing good money after bad. And it's honestly super easy to use. Here's how it works. You take your system's age, in years, and you multiply it by the estimated repair cost. So, for example, let's say your system is 12 years old, and the repair is going to cost you $500. You multiply 12 times 500, and you get $6,000. Since that's over the $5,000 mark, the rule of thumb says, hey, it's probably smarter to start looking at a new system. Okay, decision made. You're either getting it fixed or you're replacing it. So, what should you expect when you actually pick up the phone and make that call for help? This is super important because you need to have realistic expectations about how long this all takes. A simple fix, like a bad capacitor, a good technician is usually in and out in a couple hours. A whole new system? That's a big job. Plan on 1 to 2 full days. And don't forget the permit guy. That can add a few more business days for inspections to get done. Now listen up. because this is a big deal. Any good, trustworthy professional will never start working without you knowing exactly what it's going to cost. You should always get a quote and you should always approve it before they touch anything. No surprises. It's all about making sure you understand what you're paying for. The whole process should feel really simple and clear. You call, and a real human being actually answers and sends someone out. The tech shows up, checks out the entire system, not just the one obviously broken part, gives you a written quote, and only after you give the okay, they do the work and test it to make sure it's running perfectly.
All right, let's bring this all home. Because the whole point of this is to get you from that moment of total panic to a place where you feel in control, to have some proactive peace of mind.
So what's the secret? Honestly, it's just being proactive instead of reactive. It's that simple. Think about it like changing the oil in your car. You do it to prevent the engine from blowing up down the road, right? It's the exact same idea here. Seasonal tune-ups can catch problems before they become catastrophes.
And hey, before we wrap up, here is one last super easy pro tip that anyone can do. It's called the 3-minute rule. If your AC shuts off for any reason, just wait 3 minutes before you turn it back on. That tiny little pause lets all the pressure inside the unit balance out, and that saves your compressor, which is basically the heart of your AC, from getting totally wrecked.
So when you understand the challenges, you know the warning signs, and you can make smart decisions, you're no longer at the mercy of your HVAC system. You're in charge, which really makes you think, doesn't it? As our homes get smarter and energy prices just keep climbing, what's the future of home comfort even going to look like?